What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Down to Earth with me, Kristian Harloff. It is our Monday through Friday UAP news update. Everything going on in the world phenomenon, whether it is what the hell's going on in the sky, someone saw a video, somebody said this, somebody said that, when the next hearings are, what's going on. Overall, that's what we do on this channel. We are so close to 30,000 subscribers. We're almost there, about, I think, like 50 away, something like that. Is that true? No, that was a bold-faced lie. More like 500, but close enough. We hope you'll hit that button. So I got a lot going on. Tomorrow I got Michael Masters on the show. That's going to be a really good interview. So I hope you guys will tune in for that one. But today I'm going to have Pavel on the show. And Pavel had an opportunity to talk to Matt Laslo. And we talked so many times on this show about Matt Laslo and everything he's doing very well over at Capitol Hill, man, talking to everybody, finding out more information. Well, he told Pavel a bunch of stuff. And one of those things is all about the hearings. What's going on with the hearings? Who's going to be running those hearings? How many hearings are there going to be? That and more. Let me show you. This is a long clip, but it is worth it. Here's this clip. Take a look.
It was a little bit quiet for a while, and suddenly over the last couple of weeks, you got like a couple of great exclusives with Burleson and another one with Rounds. How'd that come about, and what's the reaction been like with those two?
Well, just like for our audience at Ask a Poll, I have to apologize because the American Congress is really shitty at congressing.
Oh,
Like they had to cancel their last week when they were supposed to be in session just because it was such a shit show in the House, like Republicans fighting Republicans. So once they canceled that week and started their annual month-long August recess, the American Congress is only going to be in session 3 weeks between the end of July and November because they're taking all of October off, which some people are like, all right, that's good, so they can't mess anything up. But folks like our community who actually care about policy, it kind of does screw us. But I'm also curious with the UAP UFO issue, because it's been so nonpartisan, not even bipartisan, just nonpartisan for the most part. That's where I think there is a little bit of sunlight. And from what lawmakers are telling me, it looks like we might have some hearings. Congresswoman Luna, Anna Paulina Luna, one of the co-chairs of the UAP caucus, she told me in one of their last weeks here that the House is like 100%. According to her, she's like, yep, we're going to have a hearing. She said it's going to be chaired by a female and not by Congressman Grothman this time. And looking at all the subcommittee chairs on oversight, it looks like it might be Nancy Mace chairing that hearing. We'll
Okay,
see. But
that makes sense.
She's been active on the UAP issue. Yeah, so it could have a different tone. And Luna's also told us instead of UAPs, they want to look at USOs. So the underwater stuff. It doesn't seem like it's going to be 100% focused on USOs, but that's going to be a big part of it. So yeah, we'll see. It's intriguing because then Senator Gillibrand, other side of the Capitol, because the House is a different universe than the Senate. Gillibrand's told me all summer that she plans to have a hearing, or she's talked to Arrow. She said Arrow agreed to come to a public hearing where she wants them to explain their methodology and stuff. Because she's like, there's so much skepticism about the stuff that they're saying they identified. So she wants them to go through and explain it to the public. But then she also wants them to explain the stuff that they can't see. Like, this is the funniest thing about this issue. You have like these skeptics be like, look, Arrow, they know like 80-90% of the stuff. Like, come on, no issue. I'm like, cool. We don't care about the 80-90%. We're talking about the 10%, And so like the stuff that they literally can't identify, that's what we're intrigued about. And so I'm interested to see what Arrow presents to us. Like we're all rightfully skeptics, especially of Congress. And so, and of Arrow. So, and I know lawmakers are too. So that could be interesting. And so Gillibrand said either July or September. Well, July came and went. I didn't get an interviewer before they started their recess in the Senate. So according to what she told me last, when the Senate comes back in September, either then or October, we should be getting a public UAP hearing in the Senate. Again, it's an election year, and so I can really imagine them coming back and gaveling out, or just doing BS, hyper-partisan messaging bills in both chambers. But again, because this issue is so nonpartisan, this might be one of the few issues where leadership's like, yeah, do a hearing. We'd rather people be focused on Congress doing an investigation into something where you all are kind of united, as opposed to like having more Republican on Republican violence in the House, where like Republicans are derailing Republicans' agenda, which to me is glorious.
Have you not noticed that, because we've been talking about this, Kristian and I, that with the election coming closer, a lot of this politicians from both aisles have gotten a little bit partisan on their like public posts and everything, and they've been criticized for it by the UFO community quite a bit. What's your read on that? What do you think about what's happening there?
Well, so it's been interesting because again, it's been funny for me watching some people from the outside kind of try to like insert politics into the issue. Like remember that Adam Kissinger, he was on the he was one of the two Republicans. Him and Liz Cheney were the two Republican, like never Trumpers on the January 6th committee. Well, like he tried to like dunk on the UAP issue by dunking on the UAP caucus, being like, look, a lot of these people in the UAP caucus, like they're Freedom Caucus folks, you know, the furthest right people in the House. There's like bomb throwers. They're the like Burchett and Nancy Mace, and Luna was kind of a part of it, but or not Luna, but Nancy Mace and Burchett, they were 2 of the 8 votes to House Speaker McCarthy. You know, so that brought chaos from Republicans, and Republicans controlled the House. And so when Adam Kissinger or whatever people were looking, they're like, look, these are the far right folks. I'm like, all right, so you're talking about Burchett, Luna, but don't forget when I've like sat outside of the skiff, some of the lawmakers, especially in the second skiff briefing this year, when more
Garcia, right?
Well, no. So we had, yes, Garcia, but we also had AOC in there. We had Congressman Jamie Raskin, who's the top Democrat on oversight. He was also one of Trump's impeachment managers. And so the fact that he cares about the issue, along with these people from the far right, does show that this issue is nonpartisan, which makes it like very rare in a hyperpartisan Congress. But like you were saying, because it's now an election year and because Democrats in the House are just like the minority party in the House, just the way it's set up, they have no power. Like in the Senate, you have the filibuster, so every senator is really powerful and really matters. In the House, when you're the minority party, like you're just screaming at the wind, and that's what they do. They scream a lot, and in the wind, which these days means on social media. So that's where it was interesting seeing Garcia kind of insert a little bit of partisanship into it, which then was like, I guess Republicans kind of like hit him away a little bit, but like he also did it in a policy way. So he introduced the Schumer's UAPDA amendment in the House to try to attach it to the NDAA. That wasn't, from what I know and what I see, and I've been covering this stuff 18 years, that to me wasn't a serious legislative effort, even though like these days PR is policy. And so maybe it was, and he could make an argument that it was, but I'm going to argue, this is Professor Laslo, that it was, you know, him playing partisan politics. And whenever he raised the issue, you know, he got it talked about, because no one was really talking about the UAPDA, because it seems like this year's National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, it seems like once again it's going to be crafted behind closed doors by party leaders. So some can say, or Garcia could say, look, I elevated the issue, I got it talked about, and I wanted to offer it as an amendment. If he really wanted it to be an amendment offered, he likely would have talked to one of the co-chairs of the UAP caucus, because they are in the majority party and because some of them did oust Speaker McCarthy. So Speaker Johnson's kind of terrified of them. He won't admit it publicly. But so that's where, again, Garcia would say, no, it was a serious policy move. I care about it. But again, it smelled like politics. And after that happened, the House kind of did quickly move on past it. And like maybe that's why Luna and the others are now like, yeah, we're going to have a UAP hearing. Maybe Garcia is the one who forced them because they're the majority party, so they get to decide hearings and stuff. So maybe Garcia's political ploy worked. But yeah, I think it's been good for the issue to stay away from the hyper-partisan BS in this town. You know, everything.
Especially
like
right
America,
now.
dude, America these days, it's gross. Like,
Yeah.
book bans, so like books and literature has become political.
See, so much information in that clip. And to explain it all is the man who asked the questions, the one, the only, Pavel. Pavel, how's it going?
Good, Kristian. How are you?
Good, man. So you had Matt Laslo on. You guys asked a lot of those questions. We've been talking about these hearings, you and I, for a bit. You had an opportunity to ask him. He's got the boots on the ground, as we like to say. And so give me a breakdown of that clip and everything that you feel really stood out.
It was interesting to me that Laslo seems contrary to what we think, which is that it's overly partisan recently with the UFO topic. He doesn't think so. He thinks that it's actually the one of the only topics left that is not being as partisan as we think it is. I mean, he's the one boots on the ground, so he must know more than we do. And I found it really interesting that he mentioned that it was possible Nancy Mace would be the chairwoman leading the hearing. That was interesting to me too. And he also kind of defended uh, Kirsten Gillibrand's attitude and how she's trying to get hearings with Arrow. I asked him if it was possible that Arrow would be honest about it. Uh, he said no, but he still trusts Gillibrand, which I found interesting.
Yeah, me too. And as he always says, he's asking everybody and he's talking to everyone who's there. And I think that this particular, what also stood out to me was the fact two hearings, right? Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, he said that there's one hearing that is definitely happening with Congress, with Nancy Mace leading, and the other one, which will be about, they're saying that it's going to be with Arrow and Kirsten Gillibrand. And he said that if they happen, they would be at around the same time, which is September, something like that.
It's very interesting that they're going to have two, and the fact that if they happen at all, right? The fact that do you feel like from the way you were talking to him that he feels like it's definitely going to happen, or is this just the information that he is hearing? But do you think he believes that it's actually going to go down?
I think he says he believes it's a 50-50 chance just because of the elections.
Right.
Because
right.
Because everybody's paying attention to that, and if they don't happen before the elections, he thinks that it's going to be probably because they don't want to get the attention away from the topic due to the elections.
Of course.
Which makes sense.
Of course. All right. So tell me a little bit more. You guys brought up and discussed the Schumer and Rounds bill. What's his overall thoughts there?
He believes that there's a possibility that Schumer is doing this just to keep his promise to Senator Harry Reid, and that he doesn't see him as involved as he was probably last year. And he also told me that this was very revealing, that the one who could make the UAPDA get gutted again is Representative Turner.
Right. Well, we knew that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way he said it, I'm gonna give you a clip so you can play it at the end. It's very telling that he feels that there is a possibility that Turner doesn't do this time around because the bill, how did he put it? But he talked about potentially just Turner being the only obstacle in there.
That'll be, I mean, yeah, and which is what we knew kind of going into that, right? That Turner, why wouldn't Turner do it this time around? And that would be it would be more shocking to me that if he didn't try than if he tried again, because that's kind of like a given. But out of the conversation that you had with Matt, what really stood out to you the most? Was it the fact that it looks like we're going to get those hearings, or was there something else that stood out?
He spoke to me about his interaction with Lou.
Yeah,
because they met at a pub, and he told me about Lou's origins, which is he's Cuban, and that he's like a really down to earth guy, no pun intended. And I did try to ask him if he spoke stuff off the record, and he was just like, you just listen to the questions that we ask at Askaball, and you'll know that some of those are coming from him. I found that really interesting. Like, so he's gotten the more exclusives he's gotten recently, they have more poignant questions though.
yeah.
And I think that was because Lou helped him.
Makes sense. There seems to be a lot. I have a very long conversation tomorrow with Michael Masters, and we kind of go over a lot of this, how it doesn't seem coincidental, how all this information and things are coming out. And his theory of why Congress is doing this in general is pretty fascinating. So, I think it all kind of loops together. But Matt is the one guy that he really seems to me as like the only guy that is reporting on this, and talking to these people. Like when it's got to come. And I don't know if you asked her this or not. And the next time he's on the show, we can ask. But unless you did already, but like he's got to be known on Congress right now. When they see him, they know he's going to ask this question.
He did tell me about that. Okay. He said that many of the people in Congress already know who he is, and whenever they see him, they go like, "Oh, this guy again. Right. He's going to ask me about UAP again," And some of them even avoid him actively, especially Turner. Turner doesn't want to talk to him. It's been a long time since they spoke, and he's always like he always avoids me. Every time he sees me, he avoids me. He's like, but I kill him with kindness.
So he always does, yeah. That's funny. He does it well in how he brings it up on, even when you listen to his audio pieces and with the information he's trying to get and how he gets it. So, okay, so then you would say that the biggest news here, obviously, is the fact that he is pretty convinced that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen too, and it's going to happen in September.
Yes, that's the biggest takeaway, I think. And Nancy Mace as the leading chair, that I found that really interesting.
Did he go into the reason why Nancy?
No, he didn't. He didn't specify. He did say that it was kind of evident that she would be the one, but he didn't go into detail about that.
Interesting, because it's not a name you hear as much.
Yeah,
as the other ones. So,
but he knows something.
I would believe that he does. All right, Pavel, great work as always. Make sure that you check out Pavel's show. It is, and the interview itself with Matt. It's in the description of this video, so you can watch the whole entire thing, and you can see Pavel here on the UAP News channel with me. And make sure that you subscribe. Hit that button. Subscribe. Hit the button on Pavel. Also, we're trying to get the news out there for everybody and get more topics like this out there. So thank you for joining us here today. Thank you to Pavel, and we'll see you on the flip side. Make sure you check out my interview with Dr. Mike Masters tomorrow on the show for UAP Tuesday. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Guys, let me tell you about Joy Mode. So what you don't want to do is, because everybody worries about, oh man, when it comes to whether it's getting older or whether it's just in general with getting in the bedroom, you're like, oh, I don't want to have a bad sex experience. I don't want to do that. But guess what? Gas station pills, you've all been standing around going, oh, those might work. They don't. And you don't want to do the prescriptions either sometimes, man. They got bad results. Feels like a hangover. So the good news is you got Joy Mode. And Joy Mode is safe and it's backed by science. It's like when you go to the gym and you want to have extra electrolytes or whatever it might be, a good kind of workout shake. It's the same thing. You feel good. It has nothing to do with, oh, I can't do it anymore. It has nothing to do with that. It's like, yeah, I'm working out. I'm going to the bedroom and it works for cardiovascular health. Did you know that? Yes. So it doesn't matter if you're happy or unhappy with what's going on in the bedroom right now. Perform better. Joy Mode Sexual Performance Booster. It's a pre-workout, but it's for sex. It's designed to support that quality down there, guys. The firmness, sex drive. So these are the game changers. All the ingredients have been assessed in peer-reviewed journals. All the ingredients have been studied and researched in humans. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not going ever. I'm not going to do those over-the-counter drugs anymore after doing Joy Mode. Not doing it. So the good news is it's small enough to just put in your wallet. You can take with you on the go. It's the perfect travel companion. If you go to usejoymode.com, you get 20% off with the code DTE at checkout. That's 20% off and free shipping, but use that code DTE at usejoymode.com. It's great sex solved naturally. All right, thank you to our friends over at Joy Mode. I'm telling you, check it out.